Welcome. Today we're digging into a safety blind spot that honestly exists in pretty much every workplace. It's one of those things that's really easy to ignore, right up until the moment it's way too late. We're talking about the fire risk assessment. I mean, just think about your own business for a second. What's that one hidden danger that could completely unravel everything you've built? For so many people, that blind spot is the risk of fire. And that's exactly what a fire risk assessment is for. See, it's not just some other form you have to fill out. It's a structured way to look that risk right in the eye, turn it from an unknown into a known, and then build a clear, simple plan to keep everyone safe. Okay, let's really get into this because it's so easy to just write this off as another piece of boring compliance paperwork. But as you're about to see, the benefits go way beyond just ticking a box. A good assessment really hits on 3 key levels. First, yeah, of course, there's legal compliance. You've got to stay on the right side of the regulations. But way more importantly, it's about personal safety. We're talking about protecting your team, your customers, literally anyone who walks through your doors. And you know what? It's also about financial survival, plain and simple. It helps you avoid those absolutely crippling costs that come after a fire. But it gets even better. When you do this right, you're not just reacting. You're being proactive. You're actually stopping fires before they even have a chance to start. You're making sure that if the worst happens, everybody has a clear, safe way out. And that sends a really powerful message that protects your reputation and helps your entire business bounce back from pretty much anything. So how do you actually do one of these things? Well, the good news is it's not some kind of secret, mystical process. It's actually a really clear, manageable 5-step plan that honestly anyone can get their head around. So here it is. This is our roadmap. We're going to start by finding the hazards, then we'll figure out who is most at risk. After that, we evaluate our current safety measures, put a real plan down on paper, and then, and this is key, we set up a way to keep it all up to date. So let's jump right into step 1. Step 1, this is where you get to play detective. To spot fire hazards, you just have to understand what a fire needs to even exist. And that's the classic fire triangle. You need heat, you need fuel, and you need oxygen. The magic is you take just one of those away and poof, no fire. So you're going to be on the lookout for ignition sources, things like heaters or faulty wiring. Then you hunt for fuel, piles of cardboard, waste bins, flammable liquids. And finally, you look for oxygen sources, which can be as simple as the building's air conditioning. And you also have to think about the building itself, things like hidden gaps or ducts that could let a fire spread like wildfire in just minutes. Okay, so now that we've got a handle on the physical stuff, we have to think about the people. Step 2 is all about asking, who here is the most vulnerable? And you got to think about everyone, from the person working alone in a back room, to visitors who don't know the layout, to anyone who might just need a little extra help to get out safely. This is really where the planning meets empathy. All right, we're at a real turning point in the process now. You've gathered all this info on hazards and people. Step 3 is where we figure out what it all means and turn all those notes and observations into a real, concrete action plan. This right here is the key question. You know, it's not enough to just say, oh, that old heater over there is a hazard. You have to ask, okay, but how likely is it to actually start a fire? And if it does, how bad could it get? We need a simple way to measure that. And this little grid is the tool for the job. You know what's great about this? It's so simple, but so powerful. You figure out the likelihood of a fire happening. Is it low, medium, or high? Then you estimate the potential harm it could cause, slight, moderate, or extreme. And right where those two meet on the grid, that gives you your risk rating, from trivial all the way up to intolerable. So, and this is the crucial part, that rating isn't just a label for a report. It's your call to action. If you land on substantial or intolerable, that's a 5-alarm signal for immediate action. If it's just tolerable, maybe you can schedule some more affordable improvements. This matrix basically tells you what to do first and how fast you need to do it. Okay, you've done the hard work. You've assessed, you've evaluated, you've planned. But these next 2 steps, they're what separates a truly safe workplace from one that just looks good on paper. This is all about making safety a real daily habit. I love this slide because it shows the 2 different paths you can take. Is your assessment just going to be a document that collects dust on a shelf, giving everyone a false sense of security? Or is it going to be a living, breathing safety plan, something that you actually use in training, that gets updated when things change, and that actively builds a real culture of safety? You've got to be on the right side of this chart. So when should you review it?
Well, the simple answer is anytime something important changes. You change the layout, review it. You bring in new machinery, review it. Hire a bunch of new people, or even have a small fire or a near miss, you guessed it, it's time to pull out that assessment and make sure it's still right.
Now, I know this might be sounding like a lot to take on, and for big, complex buildings or businesses, it definitely can be. Which brings us to a really important question. Do you have to do all of this yourself? If you do decide to call in a pro, you got to do your homework. Check their credentials and certifications. Make sure they've actually got experience in your specific industry. That's a big one. And of course, read reviews, ask for references, and find someone who's upfront about their pricing. It's a decision worth taking your time on. And please remember this. This is a huge takeaway. You can absolutely delegate the task of doing the assessment, but you can never, ever delegate the responsibility. As the business owner or manager, the buck stops with you. The final legal accountability for fire safety is yours. In the end, I think this quote just sums it all up perfectly. This isn't about a one-and-done task. It's an ongoing commitment. It's a process that, when you do it right, builds a genuine culture of safety and preparedness from the ground up. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. And don't think about the plan from last year or what you think might be in some binder somewhere. I mean, looking at your workplace right now, with all the people in it, all the changes, all the new challenges, is your safety plan really, truly ready for today?